Okay, so I'm down in the basement and I have the dehumidifier basically set up where I think it's going to work well. Here in the corner near the outlet on the wall. And I just have it set up on a table for right now so it's easier for me to see the water level. And it looks like, according to my little meter here, it's about 92% humidity down in the basement. Which you could just imagine, in a 100-plus-year-old house, 92% humidity makes it pretty stinky. So, let's plug it in and turn it on. Okay, so I got it plugged into the wall over there, so let's turn it on. Let's just say there on the screen. 73, 75. So it looks like it must be measuring the humidity in the room. Unless that's the setting that it's at. No, that's got to be measuring the humidity in the room because it's climbing. Maybe it takes an average over a certain number of seconds. Kind of like how this meter does, except this one's been sitting down here for probably 6 months or so. And now it's showing 78, so that must be what it's doing. Let's see what other lights are on here. Looks like the timer light is not on. Actually, I'm going to go turn the ceiling lights off because it's really hard to see this display. That is much easier. It's not easy to see that display when I've got two big LED bars right above it. So looks like that must be a timer of some sort. Fan. Looks like low and high. This is the continuous operation button, so I'm going to leave that go. Guess I'm not sure. It's not doing anything. And then this A, I believe, is automatic mode. So that's it. We've got about 92% humidity, and it's about 2:30 in the afternoon. It's like the air is blowing out of this side panel here. So it must be getting sucked in. Yeah, and I can feel it getting sucked in on this back cover here. So makes sense why this has a filter to protect that coil so it doesn't get loaded up with dust and dirt. And then just blows the air out this side. You can also see the fan blowing. That's cool. So it's kind of like a little air conditioner, except it's not blowing out cold air. Well, at this point, we have about 74 degrees and 91% humidity, and it's about 2:30 in the afternoon. So I'm going to leave this thing run and just let it work off of the factory settings and see what happens. I'll give it about an hour or so, and then come back to check on it. So right now we've got no water in here at all. So let's just wait and see what happens. Okay, so well, it's been about an hour now and we're still at about 74 degrees, but our humidity dropped way down to 85%, at least on this meter. On this display it dropped a little more. Let me go hit them lights real quick. But on this screen it's dropped down to 63. So I guess that's just the humidity level right near this machine. And maybe there's a difference because of the sensor location. We're still not measuring that much on the meter, but it does look like that ball may just be starting to float. So if I just rock it gently, it looks like it might be moving a little bit, but I'm just going to give it some more time. One thing I did notice is sections of the floor look like they're starting to dry up. There's like a little trough that runs around here, and that used to be really wet, and now it's starting to get dry. Same thing on this side of the floor. There was almost water in there before, and now it looks like it's just damp. So I think this machine is definitely doing its job. So we'll just give it a little more time and see how it does. Okay, so I set my humidity gauge a little bit far away from the dehumidifier, try to get a different reading in the room. And now it's 7:30, got 75 degrees down here and 70% humidity. So that's a pretty big reduction in about 5 hours. But it looks like we also have a dehumidifier that's full of water. So pretty cool. I only wish I knew how long it took to fill up. And let's see what it says on here. Got to turn the lights off again. It looks like it has the error code P2, and there's a red light, which I'm going to have to turn the lights back on so I can see where the red light is. Okay, so that red light is the full water bucket right above the fan switch. So I guess that's what it means. P2. Try to block it with my hand a little bit here. Yeah, you can see P2 on the screen and the red water bucket light. So there we go. Well, let's see what it looks like. Wow, this thing is really full. Oof, I'm afraid it's going to spill. I guess not. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Right up to the very top. I guess this little float right here is what turns it on and off. So, cool. You know, I guess that's actually really clean, pure water. I mean, it was basically removed from the surrounding air, so I can't imagine that it's really dirty. Maybe if there's any impurities in it, it may just be whatever was off of the evaporator coil. But I guess theoretically that's pretty darn pure. Well, anyway, it needs to be emptied, so let's do it. And it's empty. You know, I don't know how much water that was, but it was a lot. It almost filled half my sink. So I think next time I dump this, I'm going to measure it and find out how much water this actually can hold. But in the meantime, I want to get this thing working again so we can continue to pull moisture out of the air. It just turns itself right back on. See, now this screen here looks like it's showing 54. Now I guess it has to recalibrate itself a little bit. I'm curious as to why this thing is saying 54 or 56% humidity. And this meter here is showing 70. So I don't doubt that either one of them is wrong. I'm thinking maybe it's due to the location where I'm taking the measurement. This thing is about halfway across the room, and the dehumidifier is all the way in the back corner. So maybe that has something to do with it. And it looks like this thing is starting to go up a little bit too. So I don't know exactly where the humidity sensor is located on this machine. So, for example, is it sampling the air in the room? Or is it sampling the air in the blower? Or is it sampling the air going into the evaporator? I'm not sure. So, we'll just keep an eye on it and eventually figure it out. And it's definitely dried up a lot of my basement floor. There's still a couple spots that are just ever so slightly damp. But at the rate this thing's going, I think it's going to have this place dried up pretty quick.